Today, we discuss the ramifications of Oppenheimer.
And I'm Barbie.
And welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Nerd. In this video, we have a special double feature in store for you. We are reviewing both Oppenheimer and Barbie, along with the rest of the world, apparently, because they were just out there seeing both of them at the same time. So we did the same thing, and we're just going to make a big little video about it. So
A big little video.
So typically when we do movie reviews, we do just a single video for that movie review. But since we have two movies, we'll actually put in some chapter markers here. So if you have not seen one of these, you can actually just skip around with the little time codes that are down in the description of this video. So I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter. And joining me, as always, is my nerdy brother, Josh Winter. Mr. Oppenheimer over there, I guess. Our geeky friends, Christian James, Jason Summer. And joining us, special guests, Nick Murphy in the nice pink polo. And Brett.
Yeah, hey Barbie.
I'm Ken.
Oh God.
Actually, I'm Knuff.
He is
Knuff.
Knuff.
And we got Jason down there in a nice little pink hat.
Ooh.
I love it.
Jason, I'm not going to lie. Like,
You're pulling it off.
pink's your color.
Pink's
Yeah.
kind of the pink and black. Yeah. K-pop stan, look at him.
Oh, no. Jason, we can't hear
no.
We
you.
can't hear you.
Oh.
Wah.
Why did it go away?
Did you mute yourself earlier?
Maybe.
Yes,
Ah.
I muted myself. So yeah, I don't know what the heck I was just saying. So we'll just move forward.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Nice
Right
pink hat.
on. Love that.
Oh.
So,
But thanks for the
Yeah, we were
Yes.
saying pink's your color.
yeah.
right.
Then I meant it.
Yeah, it works well.
Thank
for
you.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You look
Uh,
very dapper, sir.
Yes. I'm very
Yes.
glad you put that on.
The vest is open because the gut's too big.
It happens, pal.
You looked the part. You didn't have to divulge the bulge.
Don't like
So-
that.
You know, I get told that a lot.
Mm.
Don't like that. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That's a problem.
I think my pizza's here. So, I'm just kidding.
Wow. It's going to be a short video today. So, no, before we actually get into just the movies themselves, let's talk about just the event of Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Right.
Yes.
the hottest thing this summer.
It really is.
Yeah.
So,
It's like explosive.
yes, if you're
the-
not a stranger
I
to
get
our
it.
channel, we've been reviewing a lot of movies this summer. We reviewed Across the Spider-Verse, Indiana Jones 5, The Flash, Mission Impossible. All the way back in May, we were doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So we've had a lot to watch this summer. But I don't think anything's been as eventful as this weekend with Oppenheimer and Barbie in the same weekend.
No.
I want Barbie to beat Mission Impossible.
I think it's about to.
Nice.
Like in a
When?
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say, having watched all those things recently, all very different movies. Like,
Very.
extremely different movies.
And can I say how refreshing that is?
Right?
Well,
That's
and
Yes.
that's what I was going to say. What's special about this weekend is that neither of these films are tied to a franchise.
Yes.
Neither one of them.
Mm-mm. And they're complete opposites.
Exactly.
Counter programming literally at its finest.
Yeah, like this will be
Yeah.
one of those things that they teach at film school.
Yeah.
Like it'll be something that is discussed
Yeah.
because I don't think it's ever like, I mean, this is something that they do all the time, right? Like studios like to program things that don't go together to come out at the same time. Oh, there's a new Pixar movie coming out. That's when we're going to drop our horror movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the idea is that you get everyone to go to the theater. And a lot of the times I'll go see that movie with you if you come see my movie with me.
Mhm.
So now they're selling double the tickets. They do it on purpose. It's an established thing.
A big reason of Christmas being a
Sure.
huge premiere for
Horror films. Exactly. Because you've got the new Hallmark movie and then you've got,
Yes.
what was the big one? The one that always jumps to my mind. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which should have had sequels and we never got them.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting on that.
Still angry about
Yeah.
that.
The
Looks-
feel-bad
that was a
movie
good
of
one.
Christmas.
Looks
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Plus Daniel Craig.
And-
Anyway.
Just talk about it even a little bit more. Like, not only was it just an event in terms of the best of counter programming, but like, this is the first time in a long time I have seen people dressing up to go to the movies in costume.
Oh,
You're right.
it's
Yeah.
such a
Or even just
refreshing
in
thing.
theme.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
people
more of a
are
theme.
genuinely
Yes.
happy and excited to go see these things and make a thing of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like so much pink everywhere.
There was a lot of pink.
There was a plumber advertising at our theater that wrapped their cars in pink.
Yeah. And they were dressed
That's
as
great.
like Barbies and Kens.
Yeah.
with
And they got
plungers.
sunglasses,
I
yeah.
was very
Real plumbing
confused.
company. Like I looked it up afterwards.
Yeah.
They were just there for publicity. They wanted to participate.
Taking pictures with people of people, like they were. It was a very smart marketing move.
Yes.
We had a local breakfast shop hosting a Barbie brunch today.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and I had friends that had half Oppenheimer, half Barbie T-shirts that they made
So
because they were
at-
going to go see both shows.
Yeah, so at our Barbie showing, I can't talk today. The person next to me, it was a man dressed in a full tuxedo, pink tuxedo, and that's not something you
Wow.
just have around. Like you had to go get
No.
He might have.
that. Maybe,
Oh, he made it.
maybe. Well, maybe. Anyway, point is, like I don't think I've
That's
seen
pretty
people dress up for a movie like this since Endgame. Maybe.
Yeah, or even like
Potter
the
for
Dark
sure.
Knight.
Dark Knight, Harry Potter series was.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Dark Knight was straight up costumes, but Harry Potter, yeah, you get people who are in
But you can have those
in
articles
garb.
of clothing. At
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
yeah.
people who
But-
aren't necessarily cosplayers there to
Mhm.
promote, but like actual fans or people
who
that are
just
hyped.
have gear.
For me,
Yeah.
that was like The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Everyone had like elf ears and stuff on. It was rad.
And I will say, the fact that we had this counter programming weekend, it gave us cool opportunities to do posters like this in our backdrop. I'm just like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I know, right?
The meme gods have really
Oh yeah.
smiled down with this.
Oh
and
yeah.
taken
This is the
off.
best thing that's happened to the internet in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
real.
it's so positive. I think one of you said that earlier. It's a very positive thing. It's just really positive.
Yeah, no one's
And-
bagging on either film.
Right.
No.
Right.
like,
and nobody's
it's
making
awesome.
fun of somebody for wanting to go to one or the other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, if you're going to both, that's actually really cool. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
they're
God, you're
taking
doing both.
picture-
These.
Like they're taking pictures of each other
Yeah.
Right.
and they're
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
hyping everyone up. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's refreshing.
Exactly.
Like someone said earlier. Much needed right now.
I think you said that earlier.
Did I say
You
that?
did.
Look at me go.
I felt like whoever said it was really smart.
It was me.
And you guys are touching on the quality of the films a little bit. Not only do we have these polar opposite films, they're actually both critically acclaimed. Like it's not just, oh yeah, it's a fun movie. Like no, they're both like scoring in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah.
Like what are the chances both of these movies are actually as solid as they were hyped up to be?
Yeah.
Like a year ago, we were like, what's happening?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
A
Barbie
Literally,
movie?
when Barbie
Yeah.
was announced, I visibly rolled my eyes.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
hard.
It was an actual reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we yet again we did a double feature. We watched both of these movies. Jason, obviously you did not watch with us. You were over there in
Utah.
Utah.
Saskatchewan.
Which order
Now we're
did
out
you
of
watch-
the now we're out of the U.S. Thank
I'm
you,
sorry,
Nick.
I'm new here. I'm sorry. I'll
Which
be quiet.
order did you watch them in?
I watched Oppenheimer on Thursday night, and I watched Barbie today.
Okay, so
Did
So
you
that would
understand
be a
Oppenheimer
Sunday.
without having seen Barbie first?
I felt lost initially, but once I started getting into the dialect and understanding the word choices,
Yeah.
I was able to start following the movie.
Okay.
But I think if
They
I'd seen
are
Barbie first, I would have
canonically-
been able to get into it much
Yes,
sooner.
that's what I was thinking. Is I feel
Right.
like you saw them out of order.
Yeah.
well, I think we saw them out of
Yeah,
order.
no, and in all actuality, I think I would have had more fun if we saw Barbie.
Barbie left.
Definitely.
Well, so I mean,
It could have been a really good palate cleanser.
yeah.
After-
So
yeah.
Yes.
so for those that are not aware, obviously Oppenheimer is about
Bit of a bummer.
Oppenheimer, and it is. I mean, there is no happiness in this story whatsoever. It's literally it. I think it goes out to make you feel sad as a human because of the destruction that the invention of this object caused. Anyway, after having watched that movie, I was depressed, and I wish I had saved Barbie for after that to lift me up.
Mm.
Yeah. That'd have been cool to see him at the same day, in the same day.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to see him on the same day because Christian was working, so I had to work around his schedule.
I don't know if I could have handled.
Darn you for having a job.
I'm
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
Who does
Yeah.
that?
Making the
I'm not,
living.
I can't
Jeez.
do that. I can't.
Yeah.
I could not have seen both of those.
The
movies
emotional
at the same
whiplash.
day.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I needed a cigarette or something.
I would have felt two emotions in one day.
Yeah.
It would've been nice.
And that usually doesn't happen.
I just got like, do you need to talk? I just got like.
Are we all okay?
Sorry, yeah.
Dark humor is like my thing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
so, Jason, you mentioned you went. Barbie was like a family event.
It was.
Was Oppenheimer a family event?
No.
Okay.
Oppenheimer.
I'm not here to judge. Or just
No. It's so. I mean, well, part of it, the family did not go to see Barbie because it's PG-13, and the nieces are like 6 and under.
Oh, so you
And-
get it.
Yeah. We'll talk about that
So you
later.
can-
I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but we did do a Barbie breakfast this morning, and so
Oh, okay.
Aw,
Okay.
that's cute.
Okay.
Now, I did try to, being an adult white male, going to
That's what you
Barbie by myself was an exercise in gumption and courage.
Yes.
And when I bought my tickets, there was nobody sitting around me. And when I
Oh.
got into my seats, not only was the row filled, but some lady was sitting in my seat, and I'm just like, "Excuse me, I believe you're in my seat." And then I'm surrounded by women that I just didn't know, and I felt very self conscious. But anyway,
By
because
the end,
I'm
you were
like,
all best friends.
we were like, in fact, I actually talked to the women on my left, and I believe we got some new subscribers because I was telling them that we were doing
There it is.
podcast. So
No.
so they were all
That's
excited that we were doing a review on the Barbie movie.
You know,
Very cool.
I don't think I've ever heard a gasp in real life. And that
Yeah,
was,
right. That was a
that was
like a surround sound.
that felt good.
Yeah. So
But
but-
I'm so proud of you for going out of your comfort zone on that. A lot of guys would not have.
yeah, and I wore pink because I wanted to be part of it
Committed.
with like everybody else. So
Wow.
We're,
and honestly, I was fine going on my own. You just don't want to be like people
That guy.
looking at you like, what's that lone man doing here?
kind of like
in
me
this-
going to see the Super Mario Brothers movie by myself.
Nah, you look like the kind of guy who would.
No, so I will say, Jason, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, in our showing, I think it was mostly guys in that.
I was gonna say I saw
Oh,
way
that's
more
cool.
dudes than I saw.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing any men in
Oh.
mine. I'm sure they were there, but I don't recall.
I will say that a lot of the men, because I have this special power, were of a certain
Alignment.
persuasion.
Persuasion?
Persuasion.
Well, you said alignment.
Sorry, I didn't. I was trying to help.
So that. Yeah, but
Whatever do you mean, Nick? No, just
Please go into further detail.
no.
Whitney Houston's on the playlist a lot.
bruh, as you should be. I'm every woman. Okay.
I want to dance with somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the Oppenheimer review. We'll be doing that one first. And so before we get into it, we'll go ahead and raise the spoiler warning flag. And yet again, I don't think this movie is really too easy to spoil.
Just
No.
I will say for some people it is.
Okay. Well, then there you go. You have been warned.
Atomic
If you have not
You're
spoilers.
welcome. You're welcome. I have to kid you.
Yeah.
Go ask Japan.
So if you're waiting to see what we say about Barbie, you can find the time code in the description to skip ahead to that. But
Right.
for now, let's talk about Oppenheimer. So let's just talk general thoughts to start off.
Fan freaking tastic.
Okay.
It was definitely a Christopher Nolan film.
Definitely.
Yes. That's not a bad thing, though.
No, that is
No.
not a bad thing.
No.
That's a very good thing.
How so?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because to me, it didn't feel like a Christopher Nolan movie.
I don't know what movie you watched. So from the way it was shot, which Christopher Nolan does something where it is either a sweeping panorama or it's right here.
Yes.
Like
It's in
right
your
here.
nostril.
Yeah,
Right.
which on a 400-foot screen right here, I'm pretty sure I could see Robert Downey Jr.'s soul like
Yeah.
up through his
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah.
So finish that
Um,
thought, then I have something to piggyback off of.
Okay. But the other thing that Christopher Nolan has kind of become known for is that his movies don't necessarily have the tightest narrative structure,
Mm-hmm.
but there's usually, and I've been trying to think of a better word than this for like the last 2 days. There's usually a gimmick that draws you into it regardless. So, for example, Memento was a movie backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Dunkirk played out 3 different timelines simultaneously that met up at the end.
Mm.
Right? There's always a narrative trick is maybe a better word to it, because gimmick sounds inherently negative, and I don't think this is negative. But there's usually some kind of hook, some sort of narrative device that he uses to make an otherwise maybe not particularly stand outish story stand out.
Yeah.
And he does this in Oppenheimer by having multiple timelines playing out at multiple times, and with the added twist of maybe some of these lines are more accurate than others. And we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yep.
But again, this story on paper is one of those things that you could either tell the story in 30 seconds or you could make a 12-day documentary about it. It depends on how deep you want to go.
Yeah.
But at its core, it's actually a relatively simple story. But he, again, had a narrative device that made it interesting.
Expanded it, yeah.
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 And so to me, like, that is a very Christopher Nolan thing to do. And then the final thing to me that makes it a Christopher Nolan film is, and again, I think a lot of this has to do with he shoots on film. Every single one of his movies, you feel, and again, IMAX doesn't hurt, you feel like you could touch it. Like there's no digital film has like a sheen to it. Everything's too smooth. Everything's too processed. There's a tactileness to his movies.
There's like a grittiness. Like
Yeah.
there's
And again, not in a bad way,
a texture.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a movie from another time made today, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So no, to me, it was probably the most Christopher Nolan film that he's ever
Well,
had.
So two things actually gave me two thoughts out of that one. So the first is that to me, it didn't feel like a Christopher Nolan film. I mean, everything you said, yes, I do agree. The way
I'm usually
the way
correct.
he, like the cinematography aspect of it, yes, felt like Christopher Nolan movie. But the reason it didn't was because of the structure of it. Like it was a talkie.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
not a
yeah, it
typical
talked.
Christopher Nolan thing to me. Like he relies pretty heavily on action.
He's very much a show don't tell
Yeah.
Mhm.
sort of person. But I don't think you could have told this story through show.
Yeah. And then one moment that was a show, which we'll talk about a little bit later, didn't do a lot of showing, which that was hyped up to be. So I don't know. We can talk about that in a second. So the second part is that we did go see this on IMAX. Which
Limax.
was
It was
big-
Limax.
Yeah, which was the big
It was not real
the
Limax.
big
Oops.
hype of this movie was you have to go see this on IMAX.
Yeah.
We did not go see it in the Nashville theater like we were talking about, where it was actually on the big.
We couldn't have gotten
11 mile
tickets.
long
I looked it
thing.
up. Yeah. Yeah. We couldn't have gotten tickets.
I didn't really understand why the IMAX was such a big deal. Because there's just a bunch of close-ups on faces.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I
gonna say-
think it's like the grittiness and texture throughout the whole movie
yeah,
that
I
he was
think it
talking
has more
about.
to do with like the shoot style.
Yeah, beyond it being on a big screen, the fact that you can like see true like the wrinkles and the pores and stuff in people's faces, so it involves you a little bit more because it feels more real than smoothed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on a standard screen, and everything that you have all mentioned so far, I experienced as well on a standard movie screen.
See, I'm just saying.
I
Way
mean,
to go.
it's
Way to go.
Sorry.
You
no.
crushed it.
I mean, I fully understand what you're saying. I think the marketing behind you have to see it in IMAX was twofold. First off, and I think a big part of it is just Nolan is one of those people who's trying to save cinema.
Yeah.
Really big. So I mean, they made a big deal of how you should see it, figuring that even if you didn't go see it in IMAX, you would go see it. Like that was goal one. It's just to get people in the door to see it. So talking about formatting, talking about everything else, it kind of changes the situation from am I going to go see it to okay, well I'm going to go see it. Am I going to go see it in IMAX the way they said I should? You know, it's in sales we call it a presumed close.
Yes.
I don't talk to you about whether or not you want to buy it. You're buying it. Do you want to pay for it this way or that way?
That makes sense.
So I do think it was heavily marketing based. But also I think Christopher Nolan just likes doing things big.
Like
Like at the end of the day, I think that's what it,
No.
like big for the sake of big. And that does lend into the story. I don't think it's wrong to say, you could certainly make an argument for it. This is arguably one of the most important events in human history.
Yeah.
The world really was different after this for a lot of different reasons. It was more dangerous. It was more safe. It was completely, our understanding of how the universe was held together was completely different. That should be big. It feels like it should be big and important. So did it have to be big? Yes and no. From a cinematography standpoint, did it have to be big? No. But I think for the sake of selling its importance, you need to see this on the biggest screen you can.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sold.
It's like a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger makes it more important
Yeah.
Bigger is better.
every time.
Let's get some more general general overview takeaways. Christian, you have not said anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what Josh said. Like, and I guess to piggyback what you said, the talkiness or the dialogue in it was fantastic, and the way that he enveloped a lot of the dialogue with the music, which
There's
sometimes
a lot of background score.
yeah, there was sometimes it faded in and out,
Mhm.
but like that built on the tension as the movie went along.
It kind of just felt almost nonstop. Like there was constantly background music.
Yeah,
Fun fact. I don't know if you guys, I didn't think about it until after I read the fact. There was no percussion in the score,
Really?
not a
Ooh.
single drum. It was either the marching of soldiers' footsteps or the clicking of the Geiger counter were the only percussive
Interesting.
noises in the entire score.
That's cool.
Was it Hans Zimmer?
So Hans Zimmer was not available for the same reason he couldn't score Tenet, because him and Chris Nolan are like BFFs.
Right,
He was scoring Dune.
makes sense.
Last time he was
Ah.
scoring Dune 1.
Dune
This
1,
time he was
Dune 2.
scoring Dune 2.
Mm.
It was Ludwig
Gershon.
From
yeah.
Black Panther.
Yes, he did all the Black Panther movies. He did
Mandalorian.
He did the theme for the
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian and for Boba Fett. He's great, and he did study under Hans Zimmer.
Mhm.
So I mean,
So they really got the next best thing.
yeah, like
Yeah.
literally, if you couldn't get Hans, you got him, or you get.
Well,
Junkie
it's like
XL.
2.0, Hans 2.0.
Well, it's like the first Pirates movie, right? Because they got Klaus Badelt to do the first one because Hans wasn't available.
Correct.
I know him first name basis.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, but then he came back and did the second ones and just built off of what Klaus Badelt did.
Yeah.
The
Which
thing
again, that was
we-
another one of his students.
right
Was
exactly.
Klaus Badelt. Yeah.
from the same studio. Are you done?
Wow.
I mean, basically, but yeah, just saying that to say that the as the movie went along, it didn't, since there was a lot of dialogue, it didn't seem like it was dropping off at all because it kept building up to the moment, boom. The moment it happened.
And then the movie kept going.
And the movie kept going. Even me and Josh looked at each other like, man, I feel so tense right now.
Yeah, I know. I leaned over to Christian. I was like, I'm so stressed out. And it's like, I know what happens.
No,
Yeah.
I was literally in my chair like the whole time like this.
Yes.
Well, first
Staring
off,
at the
because of that
screen.
stupid theater, you kind of had to be.
Yeah, it was real close.
We got
together.
some broad shoulders over here, and we're all just.
But yeah, it amazing. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Nick.
So
I feel a dissension.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was really good.
We're gonna put you in the screen now.
I thought that I don't know what that means. I thought that I felt like a Christopher Nolan movie, but it felt like a Christopher Nolan, indie director, just with a big budget, because there was so much. There were a lot of just gimmicks to me. With the time travel, not time travel, but the different jumping back and
There's time
forth.
travel in this movie?
Sorry.
Hold on.
The jumping back and forth between the different time
Timelines.
periods.
Yeah.
Which was very Tarantino-like to me. This movie was very Tarantino to me, in that it was
I get it.
heavy
No.
on gimmicks, because for me the top Christopher Nolan movie is Dark Knight, so I was expecting, and I think I saw Tenet like accidentally, like I wasn't super paying attention to it.
I still
Like,
haven't actually seen Tenet.
Yeah,
the last Christopher Nolan movie I saw was Dark Knight. And I guess Dark Knight Rises technically, but whatever.
You didn't see Interstellar?
I did not see Interstellar.
What?
Whoa, Interstellar is a great movie.
I've not seen
Yeah.
it.
Cornfields.
Who has time?
Cornfields.
That's also true.
Cornfield.
I've listened to the score, but I haven't seen the movie.
Fantastic.
But it's just I don't know. I mean, maybe I should have seen those other movies before I saw this
No,
one, so
I
I
mean-
can kind of temper my expectations. But I mean, I didn't do a lot of research on this movie. I didn't do a lot. I mean, I knew what happened. I know about the Manhattan Project, but like,
We won.
I
what
just
Or
don't.
did we,
I
No, we
just
didn't.
don't.
as a humanity?
I just don't really. It felt long. It felt very talk heavy. I was a little let down by the by the Trinity Project
Yeah.
finale.
Mhm.
I feel like they didn't explore, probably on purpose, the Japanese, the dropping the 2 bombs on
Oh, yeah.
Japan. I felt like I felt like I just would have done it a little differently to be a little bit more
Engaging.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just but it was a good movie. I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw it. I thought performances were incredible. To jump on your point about the tightness of the shot and how it feels like you were
Right there.
watch. Yeah, you were. It when you said that, I thought, well, that's true, because there were several times where I felt like I was like in a live studio audience watching live theater. Therefore, like I was in the room.
In the room when it happened.
Very
Yeah,
tight framing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you on that. I mean, beautiful movie, brilliant. It was a little indie to me, independent film stuff, like the when you talk about the particles and stuff and
How it
and
kept
space
doing
stuff.
like the flash.
Yeah,
the-
doing,
Yeah.
the,
That
doing
was
the
cool.
different thing. I was
Yeah.
like,
That was cool.
This is
It was
Different.
cool. It was cool the first 5 times.
Yeah. Actually, it was cool in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I think I think I would have done without. I don't know. Just there was it was really gimmick heavy and talky, and I was like, this could have been like 2.5 hours.
A mean hour and a half.
Yeah,
I don't know about an hour and a half. I do think we could have got it down to 2.5 hours.
I think so.
Jason, what about you?
This was another one of those movies where it was a fine example of, if you have good acting and good dialogue, good story, I like the movie, and that's kind of where it hit for me. I really enjoyed going back and forth between the 3 timelines. I don't know much about this part of our history, so I don't know. I have no idea what parts of history were embellished in this area, which
we
were
have evidence about
ignored. But for what it was, I got a pretty good idea of what was going on in these 3 different timelines. I got a pretty good representation of the dynamics between the people who are involved. And I found, as you've all mentioned so far, the building of the tension in each of those stories. I felt that, which I thought was great, because all it was dialogue. There's no action in this movie, with the exception of the practical effect of the bomb going off. There's no action in this movie. It is all dialogue and story. He did a great job of making, Christopher Nolan did a great job of making a congressional hearing about a cabinet appointment seem interesting. A general inquiry about Oppenheimer's security clearance in this little tiny room, interesting. And then, of course, the story of the Manhattan Project is fairly interesting in of itself. So I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel it was too long. I felt I kind of wanted more information. I wanted more story, but I left the theater feeling pretty happy, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. Britt, any further thoughts?
Yes, actually, surprisingly.
There's plenty of source material.
Oh, yes. So this kind of movie is not something that I would normally be gung ho. Like, I enjoy like sci-fi, action, fantasy,
Same.
Interstellar. Even
Yeah.
though I didn't really understand what was going on because space.
I don't think
things.
anyone does.
There's a lot of science happening.
I
but
think
was like, cool.
I think everyone was like, "Wow, this is beautifully shot." I don't know what it was about, but it was cool.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
But to me,
Aliens.
like aliens. Oh, sweetest guy ever. Anyways, I got to meet him recently.
Oh, nice.
Such a nice guy. But
Who did you get to meet?
Aliens.
The
guy from the meme. He's on the
Oh,
History
from
Channel.
the History.
Ancient Aliens. Yeah.
Once-
Yeah. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
The guy with the hair.
George.
Yeah, with the
Yes, his hair got
Giorgio-
progressively.
Giorgio
Yeah.
something other.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Something
Cool.
Italian.
Be careful.
Amazing person. I know. I don't want to butcher that. Sweetest human being.
Oh,
I'm trying to
language.
get him to come down here for the expo.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool. But anyways, so this film shooting style was very film noir to me.
Yes.
With the timelines and everything. Typically, Tarantino, I know we keep using that, but he's done it so much, everyone kind of rolls their eyes. Not meaning that in a bad way, super negative way, but it's just like, we've seen this. But there was some beautifully crafted dialogue, and the way that these scenes and storylines faded in and out to me, to where I was literally captivated the entire time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I was able to keep things pieced together and kind of really follow the plot line. And as far as like, music was a really big help in this, because I feel like had the score not been decent, then the movie would have kind of deflated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it helped
Yeah,
Absolutely.
maintain
subconsciously-
pace.
Yes. Casting, phenomenal
Massive cast.
I'm so interested to see what this does for award season.
Yeah.
Oh,
RDJ.
it's gonna be
Go
a
for it.
dog fight.
It's going to be so interesting. But I will say, you're building up all of this tension, right? Throughout this entire film. If you've seen this, you guys know what we're talking about. I feel like the release of that moment, I was kind of let down in the climax and like the release of that moment, because I was expecting it to get really nitty and gritty, I guess I should say.
Well,
in that
by the
moment.
way, we did do the spoiler warning, so you can actually talk about it if you want to talk about it.
So when
Yeah.
I'm just like sensitive topic wise, like
Sure.
the dropping of this weapon.
I see
on
what you're
all of
saying.
these people,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I it's so hard for me to put it into words, because the humanity of it was really sold in this film, like human
Yeah.
emotion
Oh, yeah.
wise, and the amount of guilt that these people, because no one ever really thinks about that. You think, wow, you created this really cool thing, whatever. But I think it's very intricate storytelling on how it went through human emotions, and
Mhm.
especially when they're sitting there and they're talking about the after effects.
Oh yeah.
That kind of got me. I'm very thankful they did not show that, but
Hmm.
it was so beautifully shot, you didn't need to see it to know.
And I think you noticed too that Oppenheimer couldn't look at the screen.
Yes,
Like, he kept his eyes down. He never looked at the screen one time.
He could not. And I think, you saw a little bit of the mental instability after everything happened, when he was basically having from someone who's had panic attacks. That is one of the most visually represented things that I saw in this movie, was him having panic attacks when he was supposed to be giving the speech.
Oh yeah.
He was having panic. I thought that was amazing. And then, the twist at the end with Robert Downey's character getting his butt handed to him on a very silver platter. I absolutely loved that. I thought it was a great film, but I will say, like, the climax portion of the film, I felt like it was like, we're working for this, and then it was like, there it was. Okay, so we're moving on now to this part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually like my biggest comment with this movie, was that it never slowed down. Like, it never gave you time to breathe.
I think
And
that was
it
a
was-
purposeful decision, though,
Probably.
But that,
because I think that's how he experienced it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to go on
The
this journey
second-
with them.
Yeah, like, I mean, we saw it, like, the general called them to let them know it was a go as soon as the test went off. So, like, that night, they boxed those things up to take them away.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's how it felt to Oppenheimer.
I think I'm going to put it in a little bit different place of how it just kind of kept going. I felt like the jumping between timelines was a little, for my brain, for this brain, was a little too quick. It was like I couldn't process what just happened.
Yeah.
Here in this in 1942, because now we're in 1939, and then from there we jump. I don't know the years.
Yeah, like you would get a minute and a half of one thing, and then
Yeah.
you jump into
Like
2
5
minutes. of
seconds,
something
dialogue
like,
else.
yeah.
starts. So, like we're
Yeah.
back in the Senate meeting thing, and I have to completely put aside
Change
what I
gears.
just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's when that was a bit of a frustrating thing. It wasn't every single time, but there were sometimes it was like, oh, we're in a different timeline now.
It didn't break
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie, but it could have.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I get what you're saying.
Had it not been so like carefully placed, I feel like it was very meticulously placed.
Oh, sure.
And
sure.
had it not been, then this would have been like probably the biggest flop of the summer.
Sorry, Corey, go ahead.
Which could I mean, that was my thought. So
Oh.
thank you. No, so let's go ahead and just talk about some of the key things. And so, Jason, you were actually mentioning, I forget what you said actually, but it made me think
We love
of
you.
Oh,
made me
no.
think of the black and white versus the color scenes. So we found out after watching this movie,
Who found out?
Josh did, but then
There
it
it is.
ended up coming up on my
Oh,
feed
okay.
as well. Explain. So, like, I had the question after seeing the movie, like, why were some scenes black and white while others were not? And so Josh discovered, Christopher Nolan actually explained what it was. I
don't remember where the interview was, but he was talking with someone about it. The way they separated black and white versus color was the color portions were meant to be the subjective view of Oppenheimer. And so most of the Manhattan Project and some of that was from his point of view. They're not saying it's 100% factually accurate, but it is based on what Oppenheimer said happened.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the black and white portions, mostly Strauss' confirmation hearing and the deposition of Oppenheimer at his security clearance meeting, which you noticed in that thing, some of it was color, some of it was black and white.
Yeah.
The separation was in the portions that were black and white are based on actual documents and actual recordings of the events. And in fact, the dialogue is almost word for word from those documents and recordings. It is factually 100% what happened.
So did they have to pay the writers for that?
I don't know.
Awkward.
Wow.
We'll know after the strike.
Sensitive topic.
Wow.
And
So
I have questions.
so just so to make sure I'm understanding.
There we go.
When it's in black and white, that is what happened.
Fact.
yes.
And when it's in color, it's like, well, this is what probably or maybe
It is
happened.
meant to be
As
his
accurate as
recollection,
possible, but not.
Yeah.
Got it. I like that.
Um,
So this is where Christopher Nolan is telling us fact versus
correct.
Fiction or
hearsay.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Opinion. Yeah, I
And,
like that. That's very cool.
And kind of in that same vein, Matt Damon said in an interview that when he got the script for Oppenheimer, it was the weirdest thing he's ever seen in his life. It was on red paper, so it can't be photocopied. Red paper makes it very difficult to photocopy. That's not super unusual. That happens a lot. But the other thing was it was the parts that ended up in color were written from a first-person point of view of Oppenheimer.
I did. Yeah. Okay.
And
That's
so
interesting.
this was clearly the intent from the genesis of the film was that parts of this are going to be, yes, 100%. We know this is what happened. And the rest, I mean, a lot of the Manhattan Project is still classified.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what happened. That's subjective.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating. I thought it was really cool.
That's really
I would have
genius.
loved the little subtitle at the beginning of the movie.
That kind of
Yeah.
that kind of
Just
told you
told us
that.
that.
Yeah.
Then I would have been like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like, you know,
Put on your black and white glasses
or
now.
Like at the, or like at the end of the film, you know, when it fades out, like it, you know,
The little
kind
title
of-
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that a lot of people. I mean, I kind of just figured it was like flashback things.
I thought it was a gimmick. Like that was one of my complaints. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's just him being an indie director.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that
Yeah,
would
no,
be
like-
cool to know ahead of time.
But again, it goes back to the first thing I was saying, which is just that again, there's that narrative hook that Nolan does to take an otherwise pretty standard story.
Like something you could just see on like a History Channel.
Yeah, and
documentary.
try to turn it into blockbuster fare.
Yeah.
Which it did.
He did.
He did the thing.
He
Yeah.
did that well.
It
Drop
just-
that bomb.
That just gives it like a whole new level, though. That's cool.
Yeah. But no, I do wish they had put that. That would have been a neat thing to know.
I want to talk about RDJ real quick. So this is his
No.
first.
Hamlet,
His-
line 39.
RDJ's first major film since playing Iron Man. Obviously, Doolittle happened.
Oh, I was going to say, since Doolittle.
Let's just
Yes.
forget Doolittle happened. He must have forget Doolittle.
I
happened.
forgot that happened.
So he's done interviews, obviously, in the pre-release for this film. He has come out and said he was worried that being Iron Man for so long actually just made him forget how to be an actual actor because, you know,
He's just playing himself.
before Iron Man, you know, he was a well-regarded actor. He
Yeah.
won an Oscar for Chaplin.
He was nominated.
Which
Never-
one? He won an
he
Oscar
never-
for something, didn't he?
He never got it.
Oh,
he was
well.
nominated again for Tropic Thunder, but they had to give it to Heath Ledger
Yeah.
because he died.
Anyway,
He had a
so-
rad death scene in Nightmare on 13th
I could've sworn he
Street.
won an Oscar for that.
No. Twice
I'm
nominated.
looking it up as you're talking.
Zero wins.
I'm looking up his
Cool.
awards. You keep going.
So, man, I thought he was at the top of his game.
Yeah.
He did really great.
Yeah.
Like he did the whole movie without his RDJ quips. Like, you know, he has a sort of a cadence with his voice that we've all heard before.
There was a little Tony Stark in there.
A little.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, to
you
a certain
know,
point, that's how Robert Downey Jr. just
He
talks. Though.
yeah.
But you're talking about the thing where he talks really, 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 really fast and then kind of
He does
pauses
this
for a
head
second.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Like
then-
when it started hitting the fan, and you could see
Yeah.
like the temper slipping.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like the slight moment I saw. But
Yeah.
other than that, super refreshing.
Definitely. He's your win.
Jason, did you find it?
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. I'll let you know.
So this movie was stacked with former Oscar winners. Rami Malek was just in here for like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
When he
like-
popped up, I was literally like, "What are you?"
Oh, he was
doing
not. No,
here?"
he was.
He did have the speech
his-
at the end. He had the speech at the
It
end.
was. Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't 30 seconds. It was short, but it was potent.
It was
Important.
Yeah.
it was impactful.
Well, the first time he popped up was in the friggin' parking garage
in
in the basement thing under the
He didn't say
stadium.
a single
Yeah,
word.
yeah. It was
He
just like,
looked like a little nerd.
Yeah, it was just He like didn't he not get something knocked out of his hand or something?
yeah. It was
Yeah.
just
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Well, clearly he's not important.
I am Oscar
And then at the
winner
end-
Rami Malek.
Yeah.
How dare you? Yeah.
But also, yeah, we have like Josh Peck.
Yeah, Josh Peck.
By the middle of the movie, he literally said 7 words.
He got to drop the bomb though.
Jack
Yeah,
Quaid
yeah.
barely said anything.
Yeah, like okay, so I mean, I get it. It's Oppenheimer's movie. Feynman, I could argue, is probably equally as important to that. Which, if I had a con for the movie, if we're looking at it as a borderline documentary, the other scientists were kind of minimized
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
a little bit, and I get it. It's not their biopic.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. But like you brought in like the all-star list of physicists,
Yeah.
and
Well, at the same, I see what you're saying, but I also think they did a really good job of showing how many scientists contributed
right.
to the basic information that he built his stuff on.
That's true.
I mean, there's so many scientists that they listed that were not only were part of the discovery, which he built his information on, but also that he utilized to build what he was working on, like as part of his team. So yeah, I think they did the best that they could to get all those names in there. Yeah, it did diminish their actual contribution a little bit, but they did a good job of showing just how many scientists were truly involved in this whole project from beginning to end.
Men and women. I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that surprised me. So that was cool. I did not.
I didn't know they let y'all do that back then.
Me
So that was
either.
cool.
Wild.
I'm being serious.
No.
Like
No,
it
yeah.
sounds terrible
That was
now,
a fair point
but
to
like
make,
too, yeah.
But
Like-
seriously,
like-
as a female back then, if you wanted to pursue something like sciences and physics,
you weren't exactly encouraged.
You were literally laughed at.
Yeah.
So,
So no,
it was
it
really
was-
cool. It was cool to see, especially Oppenheimer assigning female
Yeah.
scientists
Yeah.
to
Put her on the plutonium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
which by the way, an important part of that.
Very.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
You go, girlfriend. He was like, do it.
He's like, you shouldn't be typing.
One other Oscar winner I want to bring up that was in this movie, and I want to know if you guys would have known it was him if I had not told you ahead of time. Gary Oldman.
No, I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah.
about,
Dude.
and the answer is no. I would not.
No
No.
idea.
I was looking at that man the entire time. I was like, why does he look so familiar?
Right?
Like, how does he do that? Every single movie, he looks completely different. And it
I keep
sounds
thinking
completely
he's
different.
retired too. By
Yeah.
the way,
He said he is going to be retiring soon.
Because he vanishes. For
I
a
was
long
gonna
time.
say he disappears
Yeah.
and then it's like his weird superpower. Then he pops back up and you
As-
watch it and then you're like, holy
well, no, and it's like he disappears so completely that while I was watching that, I was just like, oh, it's neat that he finally worked with Christopher Nolan. Oh wait,
He was
he
in
was
Dark
in
Knight.
3 of his
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot he was Commissioner Gordon. Which, by the way,
as like himself.
yeah,
he
like
wasn't
they
in any
didn't
makeup.
they didn't tell
Yeah.
him to do hair and makeup and everything. That's how he showed up on set.
Right.
yeah.
It sounds like a joke, but it's not. That is literally how he showed up.
So how many government leaders has he played now? Because he was
Are we talking just World War II?
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say
We need like a scoreboard with his
Yeah.
little face where we just like
he's like all He won the war himself.
Yeah.
He was
He was all the
everyone.
soldiers.
The greatest hero of World War II was Gary Oldman.
He was everyone. He was the president. He was the vice president. He
Winston
was,
Churchill.
He was Churchill.
Alvin.
Yeah.
He was the greatest generation.
I'm every actor. Okay.
Which is funny. Side tangent for a second. Went to London. Went into Westminster Abbey where Winston Churchill is buried. It's buried in the church with the really cool stone that he's buried underneath. Sorry. And when I saw it, I took a picture of it and I was like, "Dang, that's where Gary Oldman is."
Oh no!
It was very dumb. I didn't say that out loud because they would have probably killed me because that's their greatest person right there. But
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, so one more talking point before I think we wrap up this portion of the video because obviously we do have some time constraints. So, the explosion. Let's talk about that big climactic scene of the movie, the one that was like built up so heavily leading into this movie. Worrisome amounts of TNT.
Yeah, like an alarming amount.
Yeah, there were two things of this movie that were built up, and they ended up not being as important
Mm-hmm.
as
Was the
not
second one.
only not only did they, I think, not live up to the hype, but I also don't think that they were as important as they were made out to be too. Like the first was the full frontal nudity that we were talking that we had joked
Wow.
about.
Yeah, it wasn't that deep.
Yeah.
It was actually
Was that-
like it was a conversation between two people who had just been together, sitting in two chairs like normal people would after
Well, there was that one
having
scene
deep
where-
conversations.
Where Emily Blunt's character was
Imagining.
imagining her, and that was not just nonchalant. That was pretty awkward.
No, but I'm saying, but that was an extended. I didn't consider that the
I don't
scene
think
that they were
that's the
talking
part
about.
they were talking about.
Yeah.
No.
And I was just like, what? It was important because it was showing the comfort level that they had with each other.
Yeah.
To sit in these ways in this fashion, and just the heart wrenching conversation that they had. And then of course the second scene that I'm talking about is the explosion or the detonation of the test weapon.
Trinity. Yeah.
The Trinity. It was kind of underwhelming for what we were expecting, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really the point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So
That's what I was going to say.
wasn't-
I can't decide if
Yeah.
I'm upset about it or not. I keep going back and
Yeah.
forth because I do think
Yeah.
it was a very purposeful decision.
Yeah. Well, I get why they showed that and not the actual. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the
Scene
same
explosion, yeah.
same time, when it happened, I was like, eh. Now I thought the way that they shot it was cool. The way that the sound traveled and everything, I thought that was neat. But because it's very kind of realistic. But whenever it happened, I was like, okay, so we're gonna see something bigger next because they've done this, but then we never, got that.
I feel pretty good about
I
it, though.
never wanted to see nor did it ever cross my mind that we were ever going to see the bombings in Japan.
No.
I just didn't think that was going to be part of the story. So I wasn't looking for that. I wasn't looking for a different explosion. I knew that I think I knew that was going to be it for the bombing. I knew that was it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I was at.
I kind of expected to see maybe them flying overhead, and I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
expect
Right.
to see actual
The mushroom
impact.
cloud or something.
Yeah, or
Right.
just,
Okay, yeah. I mean, it would have fit. It would have fit.
Yeah, I definitely feel
Yes.
like, I guess I'm the odd man out because I liked it.
You said okay.
yeah.
Like you're saying, like the artistic license to do what
Mhm.
they did in that part of the movie, where you see the explosion happen, you're seeing the fire and the smoke wrap around each other, but then there's no sound,
Yeah.
I thought that
and you
was
just
so
hear him
cool.
breathing, just everybody gasping at the whole event, and I was like, that feels cool. And then
Yes.
when you finally hear and feel the explosions at the same time, or especially in those three different spots, it kept hitting and hitting. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Well, especially in the theater because they put so much bass into that.
yeah.
The theater,
Mm.
it vibrated. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, because I almost felt like a little nerdy, there. Because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, cool. They involved the actual travel of sound waves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
And that kind of built it up for me.
that was the coolest part to me.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it.
I had a friend who went to go see it in Nashville
Ah,
at the actual
Yeah.
the place. Did you say something like Christopher Nolan like visited there himself and like
Did he really?
did some stuff? That's what I heard. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. It's Twitter. I don't know. So, but he said that during that part, when that part happened, like everything, because they had the seats that vibrate and stuff too.
Yeah.
So there was vibrating, kind of building the tension, and then when the bomb went off and it was silent, like it was like you could hear a pin drop in there. It was so quiet, and so you're just watching this visual happen in front of you, super bright. They have the what do they call it?
The welder's glasses,
welder's glass in front, and then as soon as it happened, like, I mean, the entire theater like shook. Like when the sound kicked in, everything was just shaking, and it was super loud. And he said it was the coolest thing he had ever experienced. So I think to truly get what Christopher Nolan was trying to get you to get, you had to see it in that IMAX and in that type of environment, because that's
I jumped.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I
did on
3
this-
times.
I did on the
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
The first one I was like, wow, and then the second one I was like, and then the third one I was like, I'm not gonna jump.
Yeah, because it was like a weird smash cut to them, and then it happened.
Yes, the
And it wasn't
second-
just like you didn't see them immediately, like for a second, then hit it.
yeah, because like you saw it coming the other 2 times, but the
Yeah.
second time you didn't, and I literally, it was like I was in a haunted house. I was like, oh my god.
I also thought that guy who like ran around, you know, he
like
got
went
out
outside.
and ran around and wanted to look at it.
I thought he was going to die.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
toast.
Yeah.
Literally,
too.
I thought
yeah.
he was gonna
He's
be
gonna
like
be
ashes.
particles.
see
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
face just melt off.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like Raiders Lost Ark on that guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So I think we go ahead and use the giving of the scores to wrap up our final thoughts and then move into
Okay.
Barbie. So let's score this sucker. Remember, as on a scale of 1 to 5, obviously 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. We do decimals, I guess. So who wants to start and give their score and final thoughts?
Let's
Jason,
let the
go
newbies throw theirs out
I'm gonna go
first.
Awkward.
I'll
Ladies
give mine.
Okay.
I'll go first. It's okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say 3.5.
Okay.
Okay.
But I say that because of kind of the issues that we've all talked about. I still think it was I was engrossed the entire time, which doesn't happen that often for that type of movie for me. I get bored.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I want to like this would be a background movie for me, like when I'm doing something. But I all-star cast, phenomenally written, greatly shot. But I do think that it was kind of indie, which I mean is kind of neat, to
fun,
see
yeah.
on a big screen. But I think that there are some elements that I would change as well.
Okay. Now let's go with Jason next.
I'm not a new person. I said new people.
Well,
first.
he wants
He wants to go
Um,
last.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
go-
well,
Jason's obviously.
I
the
know. No,
leader.
I didn't know
No,
that. No. It's fine. I'm. I was trying to see if I was biased on this one because I'd been really wanting to see this for a long time, and I really like this movie, and I was actually trying to find some flaw with it because I did not want to give it just carte blanche top rating, and I really can't this time. So I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5.
Oh,
Wow.
snap.
Wow.
For those that are not aware, this is extremely rare for Jason. He's given like maybe 3 5s.
He once prevented a perfect score because he felt a fight scene went on a little
bit
too long.
Everything everywhere all at once, by the way.
A fight scene.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
All right, so 5 from Jason. So, who's going next?
Corey.
Oh, I'm gonna give it a 4 because while I can see that it is a cinematic marvel in terms of the story it was telling, how it was put together in terms of cinematography and just all of the acting, obviously all great, but I was exhausted by the end of it, and not just because it was like late at night and it was a 3-hour movie. Like I was just like,
It took you on like a mental journey.
it did, and I was not prepared for that.
You're a roller coaster of
Well,
emotions.
whose fault was that?
And I was just kind of let down in some ways, just from what I think was being hyped up about this movie, and so I will blame hype for that, not the movie itself, but
Right.
just seeing it like the emphasis on the explosion was not what I thought it was going to be. So I don't know. I'm just a little bit of a letdown, but obviously it's still a very solid movie. So 4 out of 5 for me.
All right.
Josh?
I'm going to give it 5 kilotons out of 5.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Nice.
I figured you would have docked it a little bit.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't know what I would have changed.
Okay. All right.
rock and roll.
Okay.
But-
Any final thoughts? Where's
I've said it. I've said my piece.
all right, Christian?
That was it. I mean, I accept a lot of your criticisms for this movie, but it definitely didn't. Those things definitely didn't take me out of it. Like Christopher Nolan's amazing director, made it another amazing movie. But for the length, for me, some like to
It's the length for me too.
Oh man.
Keep going.
to talk that long, keeping me engaged is a fight a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if there's nothing else going on other than you're in a different place. But I think I'll just give this a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
And last, but certainly not least,
I'm interested to hear this.
I am also going to give it a 4. Originally, I was going to give it a 3.5. But I think it's a better movie than what I like.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to give it the credit that I think it deserves.
Yeah.
Although I do think some of the things were gimmicky. Christopher Nolan's an incredible director, and I think it deserves a 4 at minimum, for me at least.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Well, all right.
So you can put the hate comments for me down below.
No
I
hate.
wish you would
No
come
hate.
for her.
No.
wish you
I
would come-
totally, literally everyone is super valid. But there were just a few things for me where I was just like, it could have been when it scared me. That could have been what docked my half point. I don't know.
All right, so we average all of those individual scores together to give us a team score. So Eat Sleep Nerd is giving it a 4.25 out of 5. Not too bad. Not too
I'm good with
bad.
that.
I feel like that's an honest score.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so with that out of the way, let's
Hmm.
get into Barbie. So,
Let's change tracks here.
Yeah.
as a reminder,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Pink spoilers.
if you have
Oh,
not
yeah,
seen
we
Barbie,
spoiled.
there might be some spoilies in here for you. So
Existential spoilies.
make sure you go watch it and then come back because we got things to say. So, all right, let's talk Barbie. So, we have seen it.
We have experienced
We have
it.
experience. It is an experience.
You've kind of lived it really at
Yeah.
this point.
Like,
Mhm.
I didn't. I will be honest. I went into this thinking I was going to hate the crap out of it.
I wanted to hate it.
She wanted to hate it. But man, this was a ride.
It
Like-
man, I need to see more things that Greta Gerwig does. That was amazing.
Mhm.
Like whatever she thought to like put into this movie, man, she must be doing great work elsewhere.
She was famous for doing
Lady Bird, yes.
yes, a few other things as well. But yeah, so similar comment to Oppenheimer, where it just was nonstop, like there was no room to breathe. But in this movie, I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it was nonstop laughing
yeah,
in
Yeah.
this movie.
yeah, so
Yeah,
let's-
you always think that the jokes would hit in a weird way. We're just like,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
gut laughing.
I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was going to be a funny movie at all. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I had no expectation for this movie whatsoever. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't do any research. Y'all just asked me to go, and I said, sure, whatever. But legitimately a highlight of film this year. It was such a good movie. So much fun.
and like it wasn't just like what they were saying that was funny. It was actually just like the things that they were showing you that if you
Mhm.
weren't looking in that split second, you'd miss it. Like the very
Yeah,
end.
the visual. I'm going to gust a lot. Okay. So so before I was so rudely cut off by our recording program,
Technology. Technically, your
the
technology.
I know that I knew that Barbie was going to be a deeper movie than just a commercial for Barbie, than just just talking about the toy and somehow it gets involved. She gets involved in our world. But I did not expect the level of which that they addressed deeper issues and the extent to which they wanted to deal with societal issues, gender roles, ideas and concepts of self-worth. So I was kind of surprised and impressed, and I really commend the diligence and the attention that they put to these ideas and these concepts that they wanted to bring to light in the movie.
See, I went in with almost the exact opposite expectations.
Okay.
Same.
I very much expected a two-dimensional, oh, we're going to get Margot Robbie and dress her up in cute pink clothes for 90 minutes. And you know what? Not the worst pitch for a movie I've ever heard. But that just meant that when we actually seen it, when we actually seen it,
No.
because of that super low expectation, it was even more of a surprise. Because, like, Jason's not wrong. Like, there are a lot of things to say there. And I remember one of the trailers for the movie was, if you love Barbie, you need to go see this movie. If you hate Barbie, you need to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was right. Like, it's whether you love it or hate it actually almost has zero impact on whether or not you will enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
Because it does equal amounts of time pouring love on and calling out Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the main historical view of Barbie.
Yeah.
And it's like it talked about it in the movie by the end by the creator. She said, created Barbie because I'm a 5-foot dude Jewish woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much just wanted to look like this, so I put this out there in the world. But then, they always talked about how, oh, we have this Barbie for that, this Barbie for that. So it makes women feel like they can do anything.
And
but
Barbie
at the same time, kind of tore people down psychologically.
Yeah.
And so they did that whole thing really well. And sprinkled a little comedy in there.
A little,
lot.
just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 like heaping scoops of comedy,
like big old knobs of comedy.
Well written comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
the comedy jar was just almost empty, so they just dumped it.
Just
they
dump the
didn't,
rest
they didn't
in
even
there.
measure it. Yeah. I will say this
one
though.
skew. No, just don't.
Just you know what? It feels right. It feels right. I would argue Barbie wasn't the main character.
I would agree.
Who was?
Will Ferrell. No. Which he was delightful.
He was.
But I'd say it was really more about Ken. If he wasn't the main character, he was certainly
I thought he was the antagonist.
the MacGuffin, sort of. He moved the plot. Barbie experienced the plot. He moved the plot.
Yeah, because they really had the same problem. She wasn't feeling worth anything, as Ken started out the story not feeling worth anything. So he made himself worth something,
Which led to new age patriarchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like anyway, like you can get super deep on this movie, which is why I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And why I think like you can experience. Okay, so I've talked about South Park before, specifically that you can experience South Park on whatever level you want to.
Sure.
If you want to watch something about little kids cursing and making fart jokes, South Park works. If you want to experience deep existential commentary on the social situations in the world, South Park works. The Barbie movie is the exact same way.
Yeah.
You can come there for the beach off jokes, or you can come there for the social commentary. It works equally both ways. And again, just not what I was expecting from a Barbie movie at all.
I thought it was going to be another Life Size, which was a Disney Channel original movie.
With Tyra Banks.
Yes.
Yes.
forgot that existed, but yes.
Yes.
Like that's no, I mean that's kind of the vibe I was getting. Like I just yes.
Nick, pink shirt. You're not saying much.
Well, like
He's ruminating.
I'm trying to put my thoughts together. I thought it was a brilliant movie. I thought it was much more adult, I guess. But again, I did no research on the movie beforehand. I just showed up. It was just I just wasn't expecting what it ended up being, and I'm so glad that I went and saw it. I loved the social commentary part of it. I loved the awareness, the self-awareness that the movie had. Like I feel like it knew the role that it was going to play, and it did a good job of delivering that message to everybody. I love that it was an empowering thing for women, but also it kind of mansplained.
Woman's playing?
Maybe it also but there's a place for there was a lot of masculinity in it also.
Yes.
If
Right.
that makes sense, right?
Yes.
Both
So,
good and bad.
Right, exactly. So because I've seen a lot of comments on both sides that this is good, this is bad, woke, whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you really watch it and just pay attention to what it's saying instead of just trying to search out the negative things, because there is an overarching, women are great and this is why. But it really does speak to a lot. It gives an explanation as to why men feel the way that they feel, and that it's okay to feel
That way.
Like you know what I mean, while still giving a voice to the women in the country. I don't know. It was a much deeper movie than I thought it was going to be, and it floored me how funny this movie was. It floored me how smart the movie was. I can't say enough about this movie. It was. I'm gonna go see it again.
Oh, okay.
And I never do that. I don't see things twice.
Wow. Okay.
I'll
Except
go
for
with.
Dark Knight.
Christian's in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We should do a part 2 review. What happens after we see it a second
Yeah,
time?
the
Hold
second
on.
time. What are we seeing?
So I mean, I love you kind of said the self-aware stuff. Like just I don't know really if it's meta jokes, but they were doing stuff like making fun of the Snyder Cut. They were making fun of just
I felt attacked and thought it was hilarious.
Same.
But then like when I think it was Ruth, the founder of Mattel and Barbie, when she shows up at the end, she was like, oh, what'd she say? She says, I am Mattel, until the IRS got a hold of me. Like, that actually happened in
That's
real
real
life.
stuff.
Yeah.
She lost. Yeah. What's up?
I want to say real quick that was played by Rhea Perlman,
Yes.
who I loved as Carla in Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to see her. I was like, it's Carla. I haven't seen her since Cheers. That's great. Anyway, I was just
Dua
happy. to see
Lipa
her.
was in there. I don't
Yeah,
think
she was
I've
one
ever
of the mermaids.
Yeah, she was Mermaid Barbie.
I've never seen her face before.
John
Yeah,
Cena was
yeah.
randomly in there too.
Right.
He was
yeah.
Ken
Just
Barbie.
What?
He
You
was
saw
Ken-
him?
He was Ken
Or
Mermaid Barbie.
Ken Mermaid. Yeah.
John Cena?
Yeah.
He was
I
the.
got it.
That's
No,
funny.
Corey,
Good job.
I can't see him.
Oh,
No, Corey.
Nice.
Yeah.
No.
I was like,
Corey
stop.
didn't get it.
got it. They also, I mean, there were just so much to talk about, but like most of my things are just like, that was a funny thing that happened. Oh, that was a funny thing that happened. Oh, that
I
was a
mean,
funny thing that happened.
that was the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys want to go ahead and just score it? Or you got more to talk about?
It's one of
I actually got to see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought she was going to be faking it until she made it this entire time.
No.
But no, I guess you've seen it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You
I was
said you
able-
didn't see it.
No. I was able to get into a showing today.
Oh.
Yes.
Cool.
I wasn't able to see it like with
Before.
the
Yeah.
group.
Oh.
One of us.
It was
Yeah.
sold out.
Okay, gotcha.
I tried to get a receipt, but it was sold out.
Yeah. So I just want to say this was a very brave movie
Mm. Good word. Good word.
because you're
Good movie,
taking
too.
because I mean as a female, hey guys.
Wait, what?
We have one now.
Oh my God.
Wow, look at us,
God.
inclusive.
Now with more genders.
Two down.
But like as a female, Barbie is like the standard for little girls, right?
Yeah.
And has been for
Literal decades. Yeah.
And it is so amazing to see Barbie for women now as well, in the sense of there were a lot of topics that women are afraid to really talk about because it's not appropriate or it's not socially acceptable. But Barbie
Can talk about it.
talked about it in this. I think that was really rad. I use old language for young listeners and watchers.
Yeah, I've been trying to bring back Boss for the longest time, and it still won't stick.
I use listen. I use tubular, and my nieces look at me like I'm an alien, and I'm like, oh
You know
my
what? That's totally radical.
gosh. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
This whole topic's getting me pretty crunk.
still
like I
use that
said,
one.
I went into that expecting to hate it. I wanted to not like it because I thought it was going to be. Well, I literally thought it was just going to be super corny, cheesy.
Yeah.
It was going to be another life-size moment, but they were just going to be a little more raunchy about it.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
like it was literally going to be a joke, but it was actually a moving and really well done film. Film style, colors,
That was so
color palette. Well, and yeah, I don't like pink. I'm just gonna say it. It does not look good on me. Fantastic,
Thank you.
Jason, you're killing it.
Thank
You're
you.
killing it.
killing it. But
Thank you.
like as far as how the film was colorized was absolutely beautiful. I think it captured the essence of Barbie, but it told something that was relevant to now. If you know,
Mhm.
like, you get what I mean?
Yep.
Because Barbie, when you think Barbie, you think like old school collectible Barbies
Yeah.
or
Yep.
like the
Yep.
Disney Barbies or anything. You don't see plus size Barbies in front of you instantly.
Mhm.
I actually read this thing where Margot Robbie before, because they wanted her to play Barbie, of course.
Mhm.
She's a phenomenal actress. Absolutely love her. Wide range. She told them she would only do it if they included all body types,
Nice.
which I think that right there tells you like how from the get-go they were advocating for inclusiveness. And I
Mhm.
know a lot of people roll their eyes when that word is spoken now for various whatever reasons, but I feel like this movie, like, you had a lot of guys going to see this movie, you had a lot of women, however people identify, going to see this because Barbie resonated, and Ken,
And
let's not
Alan.
yeah.
And Alan.
Yeah, and Alan.
Like, you've got these
Sorry.
iconic, these pop culture icons that have, like, everyone knows who Barbie and Ken is, and now you're seeing them in a completely different way. And I think that it was masterfully done.
Mhm.
And I am so happy to have been proven wrong.
Same. Also, I'll just use this as a coming up one. I played with Barbie when I was a kid. I thought they were so freaking cool.
That
I
makes
was a
sense.
G.I. Joe.
I love
I
A
always
lot of
had-
things clicking into place.
My sister's
Like
Barbie was always marrying my He-Man. So just, I mean,
so
there was
like-
always like He-Man and Barbie were, and of course he's always like much shorter because
And man, if you want to talk about body issues stemming from toys,
right,
man.
He-Man.
like, hey kids, you need
Yeah.
steroids for this.
Well, yeah, like, and Ken
Yeah.
and Barbie.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of Ken and body issues, because I couldn't look it up. I tried, but it wasn't in the trivia.
Okay.
Is that really Ryan Gosling's body?
Probably.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Like, is he
no.
really that yoked?
I think in an interview that I watched, because I was worried I wasn't going to get in to see it because it was literally sold out, of course.
Mhm.
But it was terrible. I had terrible seats, first of all, but I made it work. And then I watched a ton of interviews and read spoilers because I at least wanted to be real well-rounded just in case. But in interviews, some interviews he talks about his diet and like,
He was miserable.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, because that kept like every time he was on screen, I'm just like, there's no way that's CG. It has to be CG.
I mean, they might have fluffed it up a little bit. But,
I mean,
Like
It
put
shine a
some
little
like
bit. Yeah.
brushes in
they
between.
probably like contoured his ab. I mean, they do in most film anyways, like contour your
I mean,
abs
yeah.
and stuff. But they probably like went a little
Except for Henry
deeper.
Cavill.
They're like,
Yeah, except for Henry Cavill.
oh,
He's
except for Henry
perfect.
Cavill. He's perfect.
I saw on Twitter, maybe.
X.
X.
Yeah. Is it time? It's almost tomorrow, so you know.
I think it's X now.
It might be X
Tomorrow.
We still have an
anyway,
hour. 50
Yeah,
minutes.
I saw on Twitter that the studio executives wanted to cut out. Do you remember the scene where she just got to L.A. and she sat down? Barbie sat down on the bench,
bench,
which
yeah.
is like looking. Ken ran off somewhere to go figure out how to
Horses.
be,
Yeah.
horses. And that the old lady was sitting next to her, and she
Yeah,
looked
who
over
was
at her
that?
and said, "Wow, you're gorgeous." And she was like, "Oh no." But the executives wanted to take that scene out, and I remember thinking, like, when it happened, like, that was the coolest. Like, I don't know, there's just something really, really charming and touching about that.
Yeah.
That like adds a little bit of layer onto Barbie's character, at least the human side of Barbie's character, because you're watching her like figure stuff out in
Yeah.
the moment, and they wanted to cut it out because they said it didn't make any sense. And Greta, what's her face? What's her last
Gerwig.
name? Gerwig. And she said, there is no movie without that scene. Like, I understand that you think that it's not, that it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't pertain to anything, but we don't connect to Barbie
Yeah.
in the way that we should if that scene does not happen, if
Yeah.
we don't
Right.
show that scene. So she
She
like
needs that
fought for
humanizing
that
element.
100%. That's the
Yes.
first time we see it,
Yeah.
because she's just walking around like, oh my god, oh, this is so cool, you know, or skating around, I guess. But that's kind of when the comedy
Stops
Took a back
stops
for a
for a
second.
second,
Yep.
and then you see, okay, this is actually a serious character. It's just this weird stuff is happening around her. So I thought that was really cool.
And it's cool to have a director, a female director especially, advocate for something like that.
Loved Kate McKinnon in this movie. She was so
Yeah,
good.
she was
Weird
great.
Barbie.
I didn't realize she was going to be in it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Neither
I'm
did
in
I.
a split for some reason.
The whole
Every
movie.
time she came on screen, I thought of her Close Encounter skit from
Yeah,
Yeah,
Saturday Night
SNL,
Live. I
yeah.
couldn't help it. She was great. She was
Where she
absolutely great. But I was like,
Ryan Gosling laugh in that.
Ru- oh my God, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot they were in that together.
Because he was dying.
Yes. Yeah, he couldn't hold it together. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I forgot about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, honestly, God, there is so many fun things to talk about, but we are just way over time. So
Yeah.
I think we go ahead and give some final thoughts while we give our scores. Same way we did Oppenheimer. So everyone giving their own scores 1 to 5, then we average them all together. So who wants to go first this time?
I
I feel like it just
hits-
adds.
It hits
Yeah.
just like a certain part of my brain. I'm like,
Yeah.
literally when you said that, I was like,
If I had a brain, I would concur.
Oh.
Wow.
oh.
Wait,
Well,
what's
fine.
that?
Who's going first?
I
Chris,
guess
you go
I'll go
first?
first.
All right.
Chris is doing it.
To make it not awkward.
Too late. No.
Too late.
Would have been way less if you hadn't said anything.
Hmm.
To really add on to the greatness to this movie, I'll say that even the part where the mom was explaining womanhood at the end of the movie,
Mhm.
and just really giving everyone their flowers,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, what's happening to my eyes?
You felt something.
Yeah, there was a lot of some barriers happening in my vision with a lot of water. But I was like, man,
What a weird way to put that.
and like everybody said that, like everybody expected this movie to go one way or another,
Yeah.
and it took this rip right down your throat, and it's been great. We'll change that later.
What are you looking at?
But I'm gonna give. I'll give this movie a good 5 out of 5.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. I want to go. Let's go Jason next.
Live via satellite.
Live by satellite.
Oh, so you just you need to bring this pink backwards cap back.
Literally,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
I'm
this
bringing
could-
For real.
pink.
This could be your look. dude.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tude.
We
the
found
tude
it.
that like it instantly gives you.
Yeah, it offsets the salt and pepper in the beard.
Right.
Like it's
Oh yeah, I didn't even
yeah.
notice it.
Yeah, like
See?
it's
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a ute. A ute.
Anyway.
Yeah. This is my thing now. That's what it is. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
pink hat, black sweatshirt guy.
Love it.
Skateboard kid.
and
Love it.
and then Christian can be the sunglasses guy. Yeah. Okay, we can do this. So I need to tread lightly in how I'm going to say this,
Oh God.
because
These
this
are
is
my
a very
best reviews.
this is a very important movie. There are many things in this movie that need to be said and that need to be heard. I was very aware of being a male while sitting in this theater,
Yes.
and I was very conscious of my reactions to parts of the movies as it may have been perceived by people, the people around me. And the funny thing is that, of course, why would I think that my reactions were important enough to even merit a reaction from other people in the theater? So I was just very aware of I was very self-conscious watching this movie, which I think says something about where I'm perceiving gender roles and everything else right now. So this is a very important movie. I think everybody needs to go see it.
Sounds like they are.
Yeah.
Check the box office right now.
But there were things that took away from it. Like Will Ferrell, for me, he didn't hit. He was Will Ferrell, and it was nothing new, nothing special.
That's
I
why
think
I
he
liked
had.
it.
I was
an
gonna say, but that's what I
opportunity.
want from Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it just missed for me. I also think they got bogged down. I think they got bogged down a bit in the message, and they stretched it out a little too long. So there was actually a time in the movie where I was actually fighting to stay awake. And it was during one of these, I think, these important discussions that were happening, and I was, and I hated that fact, but I think it was because it was getting too drawn out and too long for what they were trying to do. So I'm actually going to probably give this a 3.75. Yeah.
That makes it feel better though.
Yeah, right. That was more for us than anything.
Yeah.
Who hasn't gone yet? Let's go Britt next.
Oh,
Oh, do you want to go last?
no, it's totally fine. I think that again, I really wanted to hate this movie. Like I genuinely did.
Just tried my damnedest to hate
I
it.
seriously did. I very much did. I was like, I'm not going to see this, you know. But and then I was like, well, I'm going to be on this podcast, so I got to do something. But I am extremely glad that I did. Do keep in mind, everyone, it is PG-13.
Yeah.
I was reading some things online about parents dropping their children off to go see this
Nope.
film.
Nope.
like real children,
Literal-
like children,
Yeah, like
Real life children.
like not in that gray area where it's like you can't drive yet.
well, like even my mom and I kind of had this discussion because I was like, yeah, you know, that new Barbie movie's coming out or whatever. This is after, you know, I was asked to come and be on and everything. And she was like, yeah, but it's like, it's apparently for older people. I was like, well, Mom, older people still need Barbie.
Oh,
Like, really? Like literally.
I am an older people.
Most of the people who have ever played with a Barbie are old now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
They're the ones
you know.
that have decided to make this movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
mean,
and
yeah.
yeah. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there because I've seen some things circulating on Facebook about parents not doing their research or, you know, their due diligence and dropping their kids off. But I will say if you are of the age to go see this movie, no matter what your role is in life, please go see this movie.
Mhm.
I think that it has a lot of really strong and important messages. Like I said earlier, it is a very brave movie, especially to use Barbie in such a way and like Ken and, you know, these pop culture icons.
Alan.
Alan
Can't forget Alan.
and Midge.
I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of agree on some parts where things kind of felt a little drawn out here and there, but I kind of understand too in the point that they're reiterating the importance of the topics because, you know, you don't want it to get so lost in the humor that you forget the impact that you're going for. And I think it was kind of beautifully done in that sense where you had heavy moments, but then you had freaking John Cena. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was, you know, so, but I'm going to give it a 5
Heck yeah.
because Barbie. I'm on the Barbie train now.
Oh, like so much so you're gonna go play with some?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
No.
Maybe just see the movie.
She is a grown adult.
Yeah.
She said
I wouldn't judge if you
no.
want.
I
We
do
said
have-
sitting behind a row of dolls.
I do have 3
No.
nieces. Okay, and I
There
do
you
have
go,
a
excuse.
5-year-old niece that like plays with Barbies and stuff. But yeah, no, for me it's gonna be a 5.
All right. I mean, I still play with my childhood toys, so it's fine. So I'll go ahead and go next. You guys have said all the good stuff. I have no complaints about this movie. I thought it was perfect. Like, had the right amount of laughs, right amount of message, right amount of pink. So yeah, I'm all there. I'm 5 out of 5. I want to go see this again.
Like
Where are we going?
Like the formulation was perfect. It's like when you get that drink from McDonald's where they have the syrup cooled and it just hits just
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Special Coke.
It's
Yes.
similar to Britt. Like, I was going in really wanting to hate this movie. I don't even know why. Like, I just remember saying the first year, I'm just like, this
Because
is
of the patriarchy.
There's no.
I think it was just like I
That's what
said,
it
I
is.
think it was just spite.
Well, okay. That was not it for me. For me, it was like, this just looks so campy that there's no way it can be good. Like, it was.
You're
getting-
worried it was just going to be stupid.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was worried
Okay.
it was going to be like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what
A
I was
waste of
thinking of.
time.
Just
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Like, that was so good, so solid. I definitely want to go see it again. So 5 out of 5 for me.
Yay.
Let's
Look at us
go.
now.
Let's go, Josh next.
Mm.
I was very concerned it was going to get. I mean, you use the term woke, like, and don't get me wrong, I can see where the arguments about its wokeness. I get where they're coming from. I don't think I agree with it.
I mean,
I
when
get
it's- when it's the-
how. That's the whole point, though.
It's when it's the point
Yeah.
of the movie. It's not
Yeah.
woke. It's
Yeah,
just
and-
what the movie is.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, remember at the end of the day, this literally it was about the toy that's supposed to be about girl power.
Yeah.
If you went in there expecting anything else, you're kind of an idiot. But they won me over when they equated the patriarchy to someone literally just respecting my opinion and horses. I was like,
Yeah.
nope. Damn, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So
To be
Next.
honest, when I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest.
yeah, like I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, if I had to establish the world right now, horses and getting to do what I want's pretty high up on the list.
Yeah.
So no, I think they actually nailed it on the head. 5 dream houses out of 5.
Ooh, dream houses.
Yes.
So technically it's a 10.
Oh,
Technically.
It's technically what?
it's a 10.
Technically what? A 10? Oh. What? 10? What? What did I miss?
Math ain't mathing.
He said it was 5 dream houses.
Right.
Like, well, I was literally about to like, have you never played with a Barbie dream house? But
Right.
you don't have to answer that. I understand.
Well, I mean, my sister had a Barbie dream house, so I'm
Barbie
familiar
dream
with it.
houses are typically 2 stories.
Oh,
Ah.
yes. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So 2 times
But they
5.
don't have stairs.
No, they got elevators,
Nope.
dog.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
The new ones
Barbie-
have thing is the
Barbie
new
ain't
ones have
playing with
yeah, the
stairs.
new ones have elevators. The old ones they didn't have any because they
You
thought
just-
you would just
You
move
No,
just
no.
floated. You
They
just
had them.
literally
They just
couldn't-
don't use them.
No, like look it up. They don't have stairs. It's wild. It's a fun fact. It was part of the facts.
And if they
I read
did
the
have
facts.
stairs, they were removed.
The trivia.
Oh, speaking of trivia facts, you know the world ran out of pink color because of this movie?
Yeah,
No.
literally they needed so much pink paint that paint distributors were having trouble getting enough pigment to make pink.
This was like handmade. The pink back here.
And then Nick, take us home to the Barbie dream home.
Yes, all 5 of them. I'm gonna give this a 5 as well. I was Jason convinced me for a second because I was thinking too that it was a little long. The message, not so much the message, but literally the movie. It was just like a little, like we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it's only like we get it. But I just thought the execution was so good. There were some moments where I actually sympathized with Ken, that I wasn't expecting to. But when he had kind of embarrassed her in front of all the friends, and he ended up having the house party when Barbie was like, "No, Shoo, go away," towards the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie, and they kind of flipped the roles. And I was just like, "Dang, Ken, like,
Out for blood, dog.
golly, like that was a lot." Like you know, but also I get it. because like we've all been rejected at some point over whatever, but we've all felt like we've all always wanted to get that kind of revenge a little bit. So I can see that a little bit. I loved Will Ferrell was a complete surprise.
Yes.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
Other than I guess reading his name at the beginning. But I thought he was going to be a narrator because it had Helen Mirren as narrator, but then it had his name right next to it, so I thought he was going to be a narrator. Whatever. And again, I loved that they kind of explained the male perspective in that sometimes dudes just like we just want to be heard, like we want our opinions to be heard also, but still the overall message of respecting women, respecting their opinions, and understanding like you say, Christian, with America Ferrera's speech, there towards the end of the movie, like, boy, it's hard to be a woman. Like I would never, I could never ever do that. I just could not do that. So really getting to understand that perspective, while still being like, hey, it's okay to be a dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Well, because
That
men need to really be validated
100%,
in their
yeah.
feelings in that, and it is exhausting being a female. I will say it's exhausting being a woman.
Do it.
It's makes life really long.
I couldn't do it.
But no, and I think that's cool that resonated with you. Like that makes me happy.
Thank you.
We're proud of you.
We're so proud.
All right, so that gives us averaging all these scores together. Jason, the lone dissenter. Typical.
It's my lot in life.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I mean, this is what I do, right? I mean, yeah.
He brings us down. So that puts us at a 4.79 out of 5.
Again, it feels right though.
That feels good.
It feels super fair.
It feels good.
I get it.
Yeah.
glad to help.
I literally love that so
Yeah,
much.
right. It's got some bass. So that wraps up our double feature review of Oppenheimer and Barbie. It has
That was a
been
long
a
one.
whiplash of a weekend
Yes.
for movie watching. And this also wraps up our big summer of movies. I think we've reviewed 6 or 7 at this point this summer, all the big blockbusters. But now we're done. We have seen
now.
all of them.
For now.
That's crazy.
What else is coming out? What else
You got
is-
Dear David coming out. You got
I'm done. Nope.
no.
We're done.
We're gonna do it.
We're
I'll
done here.
go with you.
Well, that's not really summer. That's like
Who's David?
Oh, it's like this whole paranormal thing.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
That's right.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
based on a
Oh
Twitter.
yeah, that one looked creepy.
It's based on a
But-
Twitter creepypasta.
When's it
That's
coming
right.
out? When's it
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out?
Yeah, no, y'all can have that
I
one.
don't think
October?
they said the actual date yet. Yeah, I think it's like in the fall.
October 13th.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Then, yeah, we'll do that.
Probably
I
Friday,
just need a few
right?
weeks off of movie
Most
watching.
likely,
Is that a Friday?
Might be a Friday, most likely. I think it's a Friday.
I'll
this
come
year.
down for that one because I'll drop some knowledge before.
Heck
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you enjoyed this extra long movie review episode of Eat, Sleep, Nerd. Thank you to our special guests for joining us. It was a blast.
Thank you for having me.
Please come back anytime. Okay. Jason, make sure you bring back that pink hat. And Josh, you're looking.
I'll break it out on
Thank you.
special occasions.
Like Barbie.
Barbie.
Barbie 2.
Oh,
We
you
don't
know
need a
it. They
second
probably
one.
already.
I don't need a second one. I'm good there. We're good there.
But you know it's probably going to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want
But it won't be Margot Robbie. It'll have to be like,
Rhea Barbie.
Probably bring Tyra Banks back in. Just,
ooh, that'd be a good one.
Make sure you click the subscribe
Megan
button,
Fox.
the like button, leave some comments, and
Share.
also just share. Please share.
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 That's the
what
big
are
one.
your
Share.
opinions?
Yeah, give us your opinions.
Yeah.
How
Tell
do
us
y'all
we-
feel about them?
I will reply to you. Promise.
Corey alone.
Yeah.
He doesn't let the rest of us do it.
I'll pop in from like a ghost account.
There you go.
A lot of shows don't do that. They don't interact with fans. This show.
This show does.
We do.
Show does.
Just Corey though.
We're different.
But it seems like all
We're
of
not
us.
I
allowed.
didn't give them the login yet, so
No.
Yeah.
Some of the clapbacks would start
It's
out
just like,
Boy,
no,
let me
you mean
tell
no.
you.
Yeah.
Look here, mother.
thank you for tuning in. Please keep nerding out.